And we are rolling. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a great morning wherever you're at. I've got my cup of coffee right here, and we're going to have a little bit of a story time. It is Saturday, September the 16th, 9:09 a.m., and this is a continuation of my last video of Where Have I Been? So, like before, I've got notes here to help me stay on track so that we don't rabbit trail too much. So, let's see. Picking up from Revelations 2021, the event that I went to after that, it was by the same company. It was put on by the same company called Ballahack Airsoft, and it was their summer event, if I'm not mistaken, and it was called Fertile Crescent, or Fertile Crescent 7 specifically. And it's more or less the same genre, I think. Don't quote me on that. Go check for yourself. I could be wrong. But it's futuristic science fiction. There's time travel. There's all this kinds of stuff that's going on. Multiple different things. If I remember correctly, the theme for that year, and I don't know if this is a recurring thing. I've never really gone more than the one time. But the theme for that year was fungoids, or funguses, if you will. There's this mutant fungus that's, affecting the landscape and all the wildlife and everything like that. And there were two core factions in that roleplay event. One was called Gaia, and the other was called Kronos. And if I'm not mistaken, Gaia was all about the land, very, very self-explanatory. And Kronos was the faction that supported the mutant funguses and supported the change that was going on and the infection and how it spread and everything. A lot of cultists were there in character. But that's the gist of Fertile Crescent, the event that I went to specifically that year for the one time. I haven't been back since. I'd love to go back again one day. And so that brings me as to why I'm even talking about that event to begin with. So I was one of the creatures that role-played at that event. There were 3 other fellows, including myself. So there was 4 of us total, and each one of us were tasked to create and build some kind of mutant creature to run around and just be, monsters in character, so to speak. And our task was to eliminate any survivors, pretty much, in character as a part of the event. And if I remember correctly, there was a wolf, there was a jackal, there was a bug, and there was a lizard. And the lizard was me. I was the big robot lizard thing. And the inspiration that I got from that when I first started to put my hands onto the task, I was like, so, all right, we want to make this memorable, we want to make this big, and we want people to look at this and go, yeah, they're willing to go the distance to bring quality entertainment value to the table. And at the time, this was the same year that Jurassic World was coming out. That was a big, I love Jurassic Park. I don't know how I feel about Jurassic World, but I did like the concept of the Indoraptor. It's basically a weaponized dinosaur. That's all it was. And so I took that idea and I combined it with the idea of the Terminator from the Terminator franchise, the James Cameron movie. And I thought, what would happen if we had a cybernetic prototype death machine that was in the shape of a lizard that was locked away in a vault or something, and it woke up and it started fighting for the side of Kronos. That was my thought process on it. I didn't approach anybody else about that. Okay, I didn't bring it up to anybody else because at the time we were in crunch mode and we were just trying to get the project done as fast as we could as possible. And I thought, if anything, I could get with certain people afterwards and explain to them, yeah, no, this is the idea that I had for it, and so there's that. So that was the inspiration for that project. Project Ravager is what I called it. What I called it personally, I called it Project Ravager, and I made it specifically for that event. I've got some concept art that I'm gonna try and allocate or see if I can find it, and I'll put it right here so that you guys can look at that. I had some concept art drawn up before I had put the thing together. We were in such a crunch time, there was no time to really just go get the approval for it. So I just kind of ran with it. I was like, all right, we're going, and we didn't really have the best of communication skills when all of us work full-time jobs, apart from doing this as like a hobby, so to speak, which, I wouldn't mind doing it as a part-time job myself, but between family and working full-time jobs and everything, it's really hard to communicate and coordinate properly. And so I had this idea for this build, and I just rolled with it. I just went with it. And let's see. I built it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. I built it in less than a month, actually. A lot of the work got finished the 2 weeks prior to the event. So the weekend of Fertile Crescent 7, a lot of the work that went into that costume, like the tail and the legs specifically, that half of the costume was completed, I would say, within 2 to 3 days leading up to that event. I was like super crunch mode. I ended up missing a day of work just to make sure that I could get it done. I ended up not sleeping. I think I slept maybe 5 or 6 hours over those 3 days. I was running mostly on coffee, and I was bringing the hammer down as fast as I could, just trying to crank this thing out. And I remember the tail. The tail was perhaps the most arduous part of that build, because I was like, how am I going to make this thing? Because I want this to be big. I want it to wave. I want it to be like, I want people to look at this thing and go, what the heck is that? And I went down, I was like, okay, my budget's $20. What can I do with $20? And I went down to the local Dollar Tree store and I just started looking. I was like, okay, so, yep, we can use this. We can use this. We can use this. And I kit bashed this tail together and I slapped it on like a harness system, and that was it. That was the tail. And it was that, but that was the most complicated and piece of engineering that I had worked on in terms of costumes up until that point. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to get some attention specifically for Ballahack Airsoft, because I enjoyed my time at Revelations. I enjoyed my time participating as a role player, and I was really grateful to the people who had invited me to the event. It pulled me out of this depressive slump, and I was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I love it. We're just going to come back. Why don't we just come back as regular players? We'll just have fun, and we can build cool shit along the way. Pardon my language. But yeah, and also it had electronics in it too. That was another thing that I added to the build. I pulled the voice changer, I pulled the voice modulator out of my Typhus Herald of Nurgle costume, and I plugged it into that costume, and that's why when I run around, people can actually hear me growl and roar and that sort of thing. Like, I really, really wanted to put on a good show, for people. I wanted to make something memorable. I wanted people to look at that and go, that was a fun weekend. Let's come back. Let's do this again. Let's put on a good time. And that was my mindset going into it. And I'm glad that for the most part we managed to work together on that, me and the other people. As far as the costume and where it's at now, unfortunately, I had to change my living situation up a little bit, and so I did not have space for the costume where I was moving. And it saddens me to say this, but I had to throw it away. And it breaks my heart when I have to throw away costumes that I built for myself, because they're basically extensions of me. And I was really saddened by it. But I did manage to keep one aspect of it. This is the tail. This is the tip of the tail, the very tip of the tail. So I think the tail itself was like 5 feet long, with this attached to the end of it. And it was strapped on by pieces of Velcro right there. As you can see, it's literally just a pool noodle with some smaller noodly bits coming out of the top right there. And it was very lightweight. The whole thing weighed less than like 10 pounds. But I figured I would mount this on a wall and, you know, maybe put like a plaque under it, you know, the remnants of Project Ravager or something, I don't know. But I still have the concept art for it. I still have the footage. I still have pictures of it, you know, and the memories. The memories are great in and of themselves. And so maybe one day I'll build it back better, bigger, better, and stronger. Who knows? But all in all, you know, it was fun. It was a great time. Lots of memories were had, and I'd love to go back again someday. If, like I said in my last video, if that opportunity presented itself. Don't know, but for now, you know, I've got more videos to make, more content to update people with and see, to show where I've been. So, I'm going to finish my coffee, and I'm going to edit this video and get it uploaded for you guys and your viewing pleasure. And I hope that you have a great day wherever you're at, you have a great weekend, and have a fresh start to your Monday next week. See ya.